Hello and welcome back to the Knee Deep in Stitches Knitting and Crochet podcast. My name is Danielle. For those of you who don't know me, hi, welcome. Today we're on episode 3. I'm super excited to kind of get into this and talk to you about what I've been working on, some newer projects, some acquisitions, things like that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun today. Today I am wearing here, I'll show you. It's my asymmetrical shawl. I'll actually go ahead and take it off. I was wearing it to will it to be much cooler in Arizona, but it's just making me hot right now. But this is what it is. It's made with a Caron skinny cake. And I can't remember, it's like melon something. That one is made out of, but I absolutely love how those colors all work together, and I was like, I feel like wearing it right now. And now that I am here filming, sitting in front of my lights, it's too hot, and it's too hot in Arizona right now. It's been crazy. The weather here has been insane. It's been very, very stormy. We've had an intense monsoon season this year, which is awesome. I love monsoon season. We haven't had like a ton of dust storms. It's been a lot of rain, and that is very different for Arizona, but I love it. I love the rain. I just wish it wasn't so humid. Lately it's been about 50% humidity each day, and it's just felt awful outside. And the job that I do, I work with kids, and we go outside to recess, and in the morning it's usually not too bad, but with the humidity it's just made it awful, and it's just muggy and gross, and none of us want to be outside. Well, enough of that. Let's go ahead and get into the yarny goodness here today. I have quite a bit to talk about today and to show you. I've started a couple of new projects. I don't know if you can see all of the granny squares up on top of my shelf there, but I'll show you what I'm doing in a minute. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's get into the acquisitions. I didn't buy a ton this time. It's not like the last time where I had tons of yarn. I have 6 balls of yarn, but they're here for, well, 4 of them are here for very specific reasons. 2 of them I just could not resist. But yeah. Okay, so the first 2 that I got 2 balls of the Red Heart Super Saver yarn. I actually need this for a project that I'll be talking about in a little bit, plus a couple of other things. I'm constantly using this black Red Heart yarn. I know there's better acrylics. I don't know. It's just easy to get. It's accessible. I can find it at most Walmarts that I go to, things like that. And so I needed this. I'll talk more about that, but for a project that I am currently working on. So it's not like I bought it just to add it to my stash. Even though, I mean, it's gonna sit in my stash for a little bit. The next that I bought are 2 balls of the Patins Kroy socks. This is a 75% wool and 25% nylon, and this is in the colorway turquoise stripes. That's what it looks like. I think it's very, very pretty. And if you watched my last podcast, you know that I am wanting to get into sock knitting. I've been watching people knit socks, and so from what I've gathered, and from what most patterns have said, because I've been looking at a lot of patterns on Ravelry. I know, who am I? I'm using Ravelry now. I'm actually using it quite a bit, which is weird. But I've noticed that it takes like 150 gram ball to make 1 sock. So that's what I went ahead and picked up, were 2 of the 50 gram balls. And as soon as I get some time, I will cast this on. I've overwhelmed myself with projects, and not overwhelmed myself in like a bad way. I just can't see starting another one. So these will get cast on soon, and I'm thinking of doing like a little like video or in one of these podcasts, me actually casting on for my knitted socks, just so you know, you guys can hype me a little bit and get me to knit these socks. I have been wanting to knit socks for a very long time, and I've decided I'm going to go with the DPN method just because I do know how to use double pointed needles quite well. I used to use them for hats, and I just kind of feel comfortable with how to hold all of that in my hands and how to work with that. I want to start with a technique that I'm comfortable with making a new project, and then later on kind of grow into some other techniques with that. So there's that information. The next, I picked up two, because I usually buy Caron cakes in doubles because it usually gives me enough yardage to make whatever I want at that point. I picked up two of these. They are the Caron skinny cakes. These are my favorite Caron cakes to work with. I don't know, I love 3-weight yarn. I don't know why. It's just I use a lot of 4-weight, but my true love is 3-weight, and I'm going to hopefully be in a little bit, you know, down the road after I finish some other projects, casting on a fingering weight sweater, which will be interesting because of how thin that is. But I'm super excited to kind of get to that point. But anyway, this is in the Raspberry Ganache colorway, and it is so pretty. I mean, I kind of have a theme of colors going on today, I guess, but I just saw this and I was like, ooh, those purples, those greens, I don't know, it's just so pretty. And it just made me so happy. I want to make a cardigan out of it. We'll see. We'll see if I do that. I do have two of them, so I do have more than enough to make a cardigan out of it. I don't know what I'm doing with that. I just thought it was pretty. I don't know if any of you were like me, where you see yarn, you're like, that's pretty, I need to take it home. It needs a home. It's going with me. And that's kind of what I did. I didn't buy any yarn tools. I was this close to picking up some crochet hooks, but then I was like, I can just use my Tunisian crochet hooks for now. I do want to get some shorter ones because, yeah, I need some shorter ones. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is a project that I'm working on for a friend of mine. I'm going to be making her a patchwork granny square cardigan. I just got into this, like, I'm crocheting granny squares. I can crochet quite a few of them in an hour, and it's just satisfying because it's like I have all these little finished things, and then it dawned on me that I need to piece all of these together. So that's going to be fun. I hate piecing things together. I don't know. It's all the ends that you end up with. But I started this. I need to finish it. So that's what's gonna happen. But I am using, I love this yarn. This is, which one is this? It's in print. I hate trying to find like colors on this yarn. This is the aqua and black colorway. That's what that looks like. And then I'm also using, and I'm using some other stuff I'll show you in a minute, Moody Mosaic, which I absolutely love. This one screams my friend. It's just the colors and everything. But I'm combining the two. And I'm going to make this kind of like funky, crazy patchwork because this is what the granny squares are coming up like in the Moody Mosaic. There's that one, and then this one. And I feel like I'm doing pretty good for my first granny squares. I mean, they're not perfect. They're not. And then this is the aqua and blue. So you have ones that look like this, which I think this is absolutely gorgeous. And then this. I'm just using them on, to make my granny squares, I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook, and I'm using the a Boyd crochet hook, I believe. It's not Susan Bates. I believe it's Boyd. That's what I'm using. And then this is one of the reasons that I need that Red Heart yarn, but also to sew, and actually I'm going to slip stitch all of these together with the black yarn. This is just out of that Red Heart Super Saver. This is out of, and I'm using some of my scraps, so I feel pretty good about this. This is out of some of the Caron Simply Soft that I had in like the heather gray color. So that's gonna go in there. And then I had a Caron cake, and I can't remember which one it was, but it does have purples in it. I know it's not the one that I just got. It's one that had purples, yellows, kind of like a goldy yellow in it. But I had all of the purple ends left over, and so I've been doubling them up to make some granny squares for that as well. So that's what this one looks like. I mean, they all come up very different colors. There's no two of those that are alike, which is kind of fun working on this project. And at some point I will be stitching all of these together, and I might make a video of me just kind of piecing all of that together. Sorry, my dog's barking. She probably thinks the robot vacuum's going to go because she's just fixated on that. But I thought that this would be fun. It's giving me something to do. I have about 60 more of these I need to make because I'm making like a longer cardigan for her. She wanted it to be a little bit longer and not like sit at her waist. So that's kind of what I'm doing with that. I have been laying these out all on the ground, but I have so many more up there, and I still have about 60 to go. But it's been fun. I've been trying to see what will go with it and what will work and all of that. But yeah, and that's partly why I bought that red heart yarn. The next set of granny squares are out of 3 different yarns. But I am going to make myself like a fall kind of top out of these. The first yarn that I'm using is this one here. It's another I Love This yarn. I had a bunch of this sitting up on my shelves, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it. And then I started making granny squares, and I never thought I'd learn to make granny squares. I never saw the need to make granny squares before. I knew how to crochet. I was like, I know how to do all of these stitches, but then I realized, I was sitting there, I was like, I don't think I know how to make a granny square. So I went and watched a tutorial and have not stopped making them. This is in Citrus Punch, and I just think this is such a fall fun colorway, and I am so ready for it to be fall. My birthday happens in October and all of that. And this is what some of the granny squares from that yarn are looking like. And I'm using, I believe I'm using a, because it's a smaller hook than that, I think it's a 4mm hook that I'm using for these ones, and I'm doing 1 extra row on them. They're not quite as small as the other, but the stitches are much closer together. And then this is one also. And then there's that. So that is from that Citrus Punch one, and I absolutely love it. I love the orange and the green, which is why I'm going to be using this next yarn with it. This one is just teal green, and it goes really, really well with that when I set them together. When you see the yarns together, I don't think you can tell that they go well together, but when you see them as squares, it works so much more. And I only have 1 of these done, and that's what this looks like. And then I have green squares like this that are also going to be going into this. And I'll insert a picture here up on the screen to kind of show you what my idea is for this. It's not going to be exactly the picture because I'm definitely using different yarn. But this is out of one of the Lion Brand Basic Stitch. I believe it's the olive color. I will link that down below, just in case you're wondering what it is I'm using. And for this shirt, I'm just kind of, I'm winging the pattern. For the cardigan, I'm winging the pattern. I've watched enough tutorials of like how to do some patchwork that I feel confident I can do it. I've also been looking up some ways of like shaping it better. So I'm going to actually probably have some triangle pieces up at the top on my shirt to kind of help with the neckline, because I don't want it to be boxy and square. I want it to kind of sit nicely. It's going to be kind of like a tunic top almost, I'm thinking. Maybe that's not the right word for it, but it's going to be very nice. It's not going to be super long, and I'll definitely have to wear something under it because I I can see through these. But I do really, really like this concept and how it's going, and I think that's going to be perfect for Arizona because then it's not going to be too warm and it'll be a little bit breathable. I mean, I could have used different yarn choices, but that's what I'm doing in terms of those newer projects I have going on. Let's talk about some older projects now, shall we? So one thing I am very proud to say is that I've actually worked on this Afghan, my stripy Afghan here. That has no pattern, I'm just going with it. So if you can see where that is to the blue, I did a few more rows of the gray here, and then I added on the blue, and I'm really, really liking how it's looking. I can't wait to actually have it finished and have it sitting on my couch. I think it's going to be very, very pretty and very stunning. It's definitely starting to get heavy, but that's one reason I like to knit on circulars, and most of the time, even if it's something I'm knitting that's just a straight line, I'm still knitting it on circulars. I just like that circulars hold the weight, and I love my knit picks. Options 1, my interchangeable needles. They've been great. But yes, no, I know it's not a ton of progress, but I was so happy that I was able to set some time aside to actually work on this, because I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. It's gonna have to be an intentional setting aside of time and being like, hey, you're gonna work on this. We're gonna do this. This is going to happen whether you want it to or not, type of a thing. I mean, it's more because I don't want it to be turned into this like long-lasting whip that slowly becomes a UFO. I really want a finished object, and I want it to be sitting on my couch, and I want to see people using it and things like that, and just kind of relax. And it's really going to help tie in all of the space that I have down there just with the colors and things. And yeah, I also am somebody who, while I make a lot of garments, I do really enjoy making a lot of like home decor items, and I'm planning on making more. We'll see. I don't know when, but it will happen. And then let's talk about something else I got to work on, and that is my dishcloth. If you see where that stitch marker is right there, I did get to work on it. I have been working on it in the mornings before work and some on my lunch. I haven't had a ton of time to actually sit and work on it because lately I've been getting to work and I'm like, oh, I need to walk right into the classroom and be ready to go, which is typical, it's standard, and that is totally fine. I'm just glad that I've been able to add a few extra rows and have been bringing this with me, and I have a project if I have the time to work on that project. And that's kind of a goal of mine, is I want to be able to work on this project, get some things done, put it in my kitchen. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to give myself an extended period of time here to actually work on this and hopefully get some more stuff done and be able to actually use that in my kitchen. So yeah. Oh, and I found the tag. So this is the Caron Cotton Ripple Cake, and this is in Summer Rain, which I don't think they have anymore because I believe it was a limited time only, but I am hoping that they'll bring this back because I do absolutely love this cotton yarn. I love it. I love how lightweight it is and how soft it feels in my hands, which I think is a very important thing when using cotton yarn. Next thing I will go ahead and talk about is the baby blanket I am working on. I've not gotten very far. It's still like this. I think I've done 5 rows on this, and I just have not felt a ton of motivation to work on this. I keep going, oh, well, I have this much time. It's fine, but I just need to get it done and have it be done. I mean, it's going to be beautiful. It's out of this Mandala yarn in the colorway Genie, and I think it's going to absolutely be cute once I start to knit the stars and do all of that and get all of that in those squares and things. I have a very clear vision of how I want this blanket to turn out, so cross your fingers that it does. Then for my Laura hoodie, this is all I have done. I just have the sleeves done, and that's it. I have not had a moment to work on this any more than what I did. I want to cast on the skirt portion of the hoodie, the very, very lacy portion, very soon. I just have not had time with everything else I've started, and that's kind of a problem I've created for myself. So I think going forward, I'm probably still going to buy yarn. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably still going to buy yarn and probably still going to look at other patterns that I want to create and probably purchase yarn for that, because that's just kind of, I don't know, that's my therapy sometimes. But I don't think I'm going to start anything else until I finish a few things, and my Lore hoodie is one of them. I mean, all of these are things that I need to finish and dedicate more time to. I just don't have all of the time for all of the projects that I started, and I think I'm going to make a list of what is highest priority to least priority, and kind of tackle it in that without starting anything, and not starting anything until I have at least 3 of these projects completely finished. And one of those projects being a priority that I have not worked on. I will not lie, I have not worked on this. I need to. And that is my husband's Weasley sweater. I need to finish it. I need to finish the other sleeve. The motivation to work on this again, but I'm going to finish it. It's going to go on my priority list, and maybe the next time I'll have it finished and have a picture of him wearing it, because really I only need one more sleeve, and then I need to stitch everything together, and then there it is. He has a sweater. Why is that so hard to do? Why does that feel like the most impossible thing to do? I don't know. It just does. Okay, the final thing that I was hoping to have finished that I don't have finished is my neon stripes cardigan, but I'm a lot closer than I was previously. So, as you guys know, this is what it looks like. I believe I had, yeah, I showed you this, that I have the body completely finished. And then I had, I'm not sure if I had this sleeve finished, or I think I did. I think I had this sleeve completely knitted. And then I am more than, I would say maybe close to halfway done with this current sleeve. It's not that far off in comparison. Like, hold on. Here's this sleeve. Get it in the whole shot. Here's that sleeve. And then, yeah, no, it's not that far from being finished at all, which is good. And then I have one of the pockets done. I will be knitting another one of those. These don't take that long at all. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it, and I did it on very small needles so that it would actually make a very dense pocket so that nothing will kind of slip through the front there. So I'm going to say this, and we'll see if it actually happens, but I do believe that I'm going to be able to finish this by the next time I film a podcast. So I usually film these on Wednesdays, so I have a week, because it's a Wednesday today. I have a week to get this done, and I think I can do it. I think that's going to be something I'm going to be able to accomplish. My intentions for the next podcast are to have, I'm going to be ambitious here. I'm going to put this out into the universe, and we're going to see what happens, are to have my neon cardigan completely finished, and my husband's Weasley sweater completely finished. I think that I should be able to do it. I should have some more time. I just need to manage my time a little bit better, and I think things will work out in the way that I want and need them to. So those are my intentions, along with not starting any new projects. Which leads me to ask you guys this question to leave down in the comment section below. Do you find yourself starting so many projects that you overwhelm yourself like I have here? Or are you more of a monogamous crafter? Do you have certain things that you focus on and certain things that you don't focus on? You know what I mean? You have that one project, you're like, no, I need to get this finished. Also, are you an excessive yarn buyer like I am? I love buying yarn. I love looking at yarn. I love all kinds of yarn too. That's where the problem lies. I have a very creative brain, and I see something and I'm like, I need that, when really I don't. I really don't need half of this, but yeah. Anyway, I do want to say thank you to everyone who has watched my podcast, as well as everyone who has subscribed. I do really appreciate it. It would greatly help me out if you could leave a like and a comment down below, as well as subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I do my best to film a podcast at least once a week, kind of talking about my knitting and crochet process, and I do hope that you enjoy it. And I love to talk to people down in the comment section about things that they enjoy making. Well, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this. I do really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are, and bye!